Hey guys, Pioneer Saturn here, Doug. Just showing the sled that I made to originally make Hank's tubes here, but we'll be using it in the future after some improvements and work on it. But this is how it is for now. For those of you who don't know the concept or are kerfing large panels such as this and need an idea, Sled is pretty good, safe, consistent way to make a bunch of curve cuts such as this. Here's one of the finished ones. Lots of cuts going on that took a while, but with this it will be certainly a lot faster and a lot safer and more consistent than just running it through using a fence. If you actually have the island around your table saw, which I do not, which is a pain, but making this will help if you have the small space like me. All you really need is the base and then one layer strip screwed in on both sides, the height of your material, which is 3/4 what I'll be mostly cutting. But if you want to go higher, you need to stack your strips, your supports on the ends even higher so that it's thicker than the material that you're cutting, or else obviously you're gonna cut it like right here where the blade needs to be going through, which makes the cut right there as it passes through the whole thing. And then of course this top keeps it all together, and then some fairly ghetto guides that I just CA glued on there for now, but do the job just fine. Of course they just go along the miter slots right there. Just give a little extra guide, and it's this one right now I have up against the fence as well for a little bit more support and just make sure everything's staying square. Because these aren't super snug fitting slides going on here. But anyway, want to make a cut through, of course, your bottom base, and then just keep moving the saw blade up with a piece of material with the thickness that you're wanting, such as this. Just keep moving it up until your curves are the size you want, so that you can get some nice flexibility without it breaking too. If it's too thick, it break easily, and if it's too thin, obviously it'll just tear. But you want to like this, where you can move it around pretty well without it breaking. But with this, how I have it set up, you may notice the two slots on either side of the main cut through where the blade rides. Purpose of those is a stop here, which when you're beginning your saw cuts, let me see if I can move this. All these curve cuts are getting caught up on the blade real quick. Alright, there we go. Say I'm making my first cut on this board. These spacings for those slots are just the space you are wanting between your curve cuts. Pretty obvious, but you just simply, for your first cut, butt the board right up against your little tab that you have in that slot, which should float freely through your curve cut. Just find some scrap or make a cut off of some scrap to make a little tab for that. And then I put some duct tape on the bottom of it so it fits nice and snug down in that slot and isn't moving around. You just butt it up against that, and then what I do is take my weight and then just put it right near where you're cutting. I don't want it right over the blade in case, God forbid, it actually snuck through, but right near there, just so you don't really have to worry about holding it down all that much or it moving, so you can concentrate more on just moving the sled. But you would just make your first cut, and then quite simply just keep moving it down. Let's say I'm making my second cut here. You would just slide the cut you just made, which is that one, right into your tab, and then your next cut will be lined right up with where you want it, and then you make that cut and move it down again, obviously, and then just feed it right back in there, and then just get it right in there, and then feed it, put it right up against your fence. And I put my weight back on. Camera fell, nice. But you know, some people would prefer just holding the board. With a board that's 4 feet long, I much prefer a weight being there near where you're cutting, just because you have all this hanging off, and it's just a pain having to worry about holding that and moving the sled at the same time. But you would just make your cut like so. Blade would just move through everything. Hard doing it one-handed, but as you can see, it would pass all the way through the board, just short of cutting all the way through, and pass all the way through this other side. Then you would just simply pull the sled back. Do that, hopefully without the camera falling. Okay. God, there it goes. But that's pretty much all that there is to know about using the sled in this manner, but I hope to have much better guides that actually go the full length underneath the main panel here, and also potentially make a track all the way along the ends of the panel so that the slides can be moved, so you can move the entire sled over, so you can have different cutting areas. Let's say you'd want this all the way down here, so that you don't have to ever have the panel hanging off, such as this. You could literally just move this all the way down here with the movable tracks, so that the whole thing is always supported on the sled. Did not have time to do that, but I gotta get going on these, get these made. But that's that. Any questions, just leave them in. But one of the ways you can do a whole bunch of curves safely, consistently, quickly. But alright, see you on the forums.